Welcome to the Tiny House Ideas podcast. So in terms, obviously, when you guys have been going around, obviously, I can imagine it's sort of not the easiest as filmmakers to sort of be filming in tiny spaces.
It's a very fun challenge.
I can imagine it threw up a lot of challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, it was completely new from the off. I mean, we usually to make the best product we can, I guess you would call it, we like to take a lot of gear, and when you're filming in tiny spaces, it just shows like, oh, that tiny space fills up really quickly with a lot of camera gear. So it was figuring out how to deal that, but still get the quality we want and tell the story that we want from it. But there's a lot of challenges for sure.
We are going for a sort of natural feel to the documentary, so a lot of it is handheld, thankfully, rather than having lots of commercial sort of rigs like we do, like sliders and walking around with gimbals in tiny homes. So the handheld helps. The bit when it's really a challenge is when we're filming the interviews, because we've got the two cameras on the tripods, we've got the boom mic going above, me and George both sitting behind the cameras, and the light as well. So that's when it's a fun, creative challenge, really.
I can imagine, yeah, a lot of stuff to sort of to fit in, and obviously with you guys as well, it sort of does flip quite quickly. And in fact, I was having a look before we did this podcast, sort of having a look at your Instagram and looking at some of the behind the scenes, the stories and stuff you've got on your social media. And there was one that sort of stuck out to me, because I remember there was one of you sort of hanging off a gangplank with the camera to sort of get this shot of the barge or narrowboat going along. I mean, that must have been sort of petrifying as well, with all your cameras and stuff over the water.
Yeah, so that was our first shoot of the documentary, filming with the lovely Marisa. And to start with, we had to find her on the canal using coordinates. So that was very, very different of just typing a postcode into the sat-nav, yeah. And obviously once we found her, we had to cross the gangplank with our gear, which all went okay, thankfully. And it was we filmed her with her for 2 days, and it was a really fun couple of days. When she was driving the boat down the canal, George was sort of running alongside on the towpath, while I was just chilling on top of the boat, filming Marisa, just hanging off the edge of it.
Yeah, you were like catching the sun, just chilling with your legs dangling over the side of the boat, and I was there trying to keep up, carrying the camera and like trying to get smooth shots. And that was really difficult. But yeah, that was interesting, using the coordinates to get there. And we did have, again, like we said, quite a lot of gear. So we had to like drag it all across the towpath on the canal. But yeah, it was such a great experience. Again, she was great, and can't wait to tell her story in the documentary. But it was a huge learning curve with that being the first shoot, and we learnt a lot to take on to the following one. That was really good.
Yeah, I can imagine sort of literally being in at the deep end.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And we even learned how to operate the locks. Marisa would get us off the boat. She'd tell us to go do the locks and tell us how to do it, and she'd drive it through. It was brilliant.
Because she lives on her own, she was like, I think grateful for two guys that could, you know, like leapfrog each other, doing different locks and helping her out. And I think she really enjoyed that. And to be honest, I really enjoyed it as well. She chucked me a windlass. We were doing the locks. It was a fantastic experience. And her boat, Pridwen, is absolutely amazing. Like,
thanks for watching this little teaser for the Tiny House Ideas podcast. If you'd like to listen to the full episode, it's available on all major streaming platforms. So that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all of the others. Alternatively, if you'd rather watch it sort of in a video format like this video has been, then that's available on Patreon. Just search for Tiny House Ideas. So thanks again for watching. Please do check out the full episode, and thanks again.